everybody. Okay, so for our daily reading for Angel's Whisper, I heard him, I said, let's go for a deck that we haven't used for a long time. And I dug into my recesses and I brought out the Animal Dreaming deck. It's by Scott Alexander King. I've rarely used this deck, but the Animal Messenger spoke to me this morning because the vulture left me a message, and so did the Blackhawk. And so did the dragonfly. So animal messengers were speaking big time. So what's interesting about this one is there's double emphasis on the trickster. Now the dingo, the desert dog, it speaks about overconfidence in a certain area. The dingo expects that the world will support its needs, and that everyone's going to welcome them, and that they're because of their charm and their adaptability, that's going to carry them through. So this is kind of like the fool. He steps naively out into the world, ready to begin life. It basically represents an immature person or a character who is impulsive, doesn't really put a lot of thought of the consequences or outcomes, very eager to go out into the world, explore new horizons, and try new things. They're so excited to jump out, they often fail to notice that there are obstacles that might prevent them on a day-to-day basis. So the dingo is naturally friendly, but they're socially inexperienced. That's the kind of person this is. Very friendly, inexperienced socially. Often bites off more than they can chew, and then they sit there licking their wounds, and they're confused when their actions backfire on them. They're not quite understanding why, because they didn't look ahead, or a lot of it just has to do with, maybe you're a person who's just not very experienced in the world, and maybe maybe that's what's been happening. Maybe you made a choice and you didn't recognize where you were going, or didn't realize the ramifications, and it bit you in the ass, and you're sitting there licking your wounds right now. So although the dingo kind of goes out in this kind of painfully immature, streetwise way, he's teaching you to learn from your mistakes and not take life too seriously. So laugh at yourself. Okay, I messed up. I'm never going to be a victim to that again. To that illusion, to whatever it was that tricked me. That was a lesson for me. It was a big lesson. But maybe you need to stabilize yourself right now. If the dingo is talking to you, are you maybe about to go into something that you are oblivious to the hazards that might be there? Maybe they're going to put blocks up against what you are truly capable actually of. Are you fooling yourself that you're on course? Are you overly trusting and a little bit naive? Do you need to maybe rethink things or reassess your current direction and maybe go back to your original game plan? You've probably made mistakes and you've learned from them, just like we said. And you can't expect life to change if you keep doing the same thing again and again, right? So if you've learned your lesson, don't repeat your mistake. If you want to try and experience new things, then you need to approach life in a more grounded, more practical view, instead of being going off in kind of like a dreamy state without being realistic. But also, as I said, maybe this is where you were, because this is the card that's coming first. So maybe this is what happened, and now you're feeling embarrassed or ashamed or feeling stupid, or you're licking your wounds, right? Feeling sorry for yourself maybe. And the trickster, it's kind of like the fox. It's like you were tricked into doing something because your higher self needed you to learn something. You needed to learn from the outcome of what happened. So now you have learned, hopefully, and you won't repeat that again, as was already said. So in a sense, yes, it might have been painful, humiliating, embarrassing, whatever the situation is, but it's in the past. Let it go. Laugh at it. Wash away the grime from it. Thank the people involved for the lessons. Keep unconditional love in your heart. Doesn't mean you need to be a doormat or go back to them, but you are not going to allow it to affect you. Ask the Father to fill you with unconditional love and spill it down all over the outside of you. Fill you up with it, burning off anything that has come against you, your negative thoughts, feelings, actions that you're holding yourself. As it spills over top of you, it burns off all of the attachments to everything on the outside. Bless whoever or whatever it was that caused you to stumble. Wash your hands of it and walk away. Notice that this trickster is coming down the mountain, going to the right. The mountain is the challenge. It's moving forward. All right, next message. The kangaroo. I like this one. Mama kangaroo taking care of her babe, right? She's got her babe in her pouch and he's safe with her. And it speaks about abundance. So they need to question you. You need to question yourself. Spirit is asking you to question yourself. What does abundance mean to you? What does wealth mean to you? Because if you're thinking it means a lot of money, you're not thinking straight. That's the wrong answer. When you focus on money primarily, you're going to nurture that poverty lack. And that's what you're going to see in front of you. Your mind starts feeding on poverty, a lack of money, lack of money, lack of money, and then that's where you sit, right? Wealth comes from family, from friends, from knowledge, from spirit, from true love. And to know true love is supreme wealth. That is the strongest and the biggest gift that you can be given. So when you realize that wealth rarely takes the form of money or gold, you release that mindset. So that fear of lack can be transmuted into trusting the universe. That way, you let go of the block of the stream of abundance that might be in your way, and it'll remove that forever. And then the greater flow of cash and material necessities that you're actually desiring will come into your life. That's what results. You let go of the lack, and then it will result in gain. It's just the way the net law of attraction works. So the gray kangaroo, now I'm saying gray kangaroo because in this deck there are different color kangaroos represented. It represents warm pelt, strong bones, rich meat. The bones were used for cutting and digging. Prosperity meant healthy children, full stomach. See the warm stomach with a safe place to be, dry place to be for the people. And they believed that the land would bring them all that they needed. So as long as they were living in harmony with the land. So the gray kangaroo, when they showed up, they knew that they would never go hungry or they would never suffer. It's a promise of true abundance. So if they've come into your world today, which they have, the gray kangaroo has walked into your life now. It means that your life is going to be soon rich with emotion, with thoughts, with knowledge. And these are the fundamental needs, the first needs for you and your family. So what you require, if it's financial or material, that is in the process of currently manifesting. And your needs are soon going to be met. But you are being reminded to separate what you want from what you need. And to seek materialistic above what you need spiritually or emotionally is going to result in stagnation to be continuing. So it's a reminder that it is our birthright to have all that we require, as long as our requests are offered in a sacred way. So spirit first. The number 6, I'm surprised there are no numbers in this. Oh, there is. There's 2 and 9. 9, 10, 11. Break it down. 11. The number 11 is an awesome message. That means listen to spirit, right? When you see the number 11 or 1111, what do you need to be thinking? What are you thinking about seeing or feeling right at this moment? Is it a time for you to speak to spirit or to listen to spirit? So right now, spirit's telling you, don't worry, we know what you need. Things are manifesting for you. You need to recognize that the first thing that's important is true love. That's the message for this. The next message is my favorite horse of all time, the Palomino. I grew up, that was always my favorite horse. And the horse is the first message to me about the horse is forward movement. But in this deck, it's speaking about personal power. You'll notice that I've got this iron horse. Now iron, strong, and it's also moving forward. And it's funny, it's going in this direction, just like this one, coming away from the coast, it feels like, because this is where I'm sitting, from the west going towards the east. Interesting. But this horse is coming to meet this one. So I feel like there's a joining between two. Interesting. One coming from northeast and one coming from... Interesting. Look how they're coming. They're converging. That's just a personal message that I'm picking up. So the horse... horse talks about a greater understanding of the land and exploring the horizon on levels that you haven't before. It's obvious links to movement and travel. That's why I believe that two are coming together. There's travel. And this one's coming fast. So I believe this one reminds me of the night. This one's coming fast. The hare's flying. This one is stationary waiting for this one to come. That's a message I'm reading straight from that. So the horse is talking about embracing personal power. So that's your connection to your spiritual journey, right? Searching for your spiritual wisdom. Personal power represents a wealth of knowledge, right? Which you accumulate over your life experiences, which is what the trickster is speaking about, right? You have gone through something and you've gotten a wealth of knowledge, right? This has brought abundance of knowledge to you, which has resulted in personal strength and personal power, right? This is over time. And when it's honored, it shifts you to a place of being stuck to unlimited potential. So, according to tradition, this is the part that I find interesting. The horse stands for the four cardinal points of the wheel of life, okay? So the yellow palomino is protecting the east, just as I said. This one's coming from the east. And the red chestnut stands in the north, and the black horse is the west. Just like I said. How funny that I put this and I moved this over there. So the black horse represents the west. This one represents the east. One's coming from the east to meet the one on the west. Very, very good message. Love that. And then the dapple gray or the white horse represents the south. So pay attention to those things for whatever messages. Whenever today, Spirit will show you horses probably and give you personal messages about that. So each of the four corners represent sacred powers and wealth of the energies and the wisdom coming from those areas. So it's up to us to go out and seek the knowledge, right? And once you find it, then you bring this into your life. So metaphorically, journeying from the east will bring gifts of illumination. So something coming from the east is going to be giving this black horse illumination on something. There's something that's going to be cleared up. There's going to be a light. So information coming forward from the east is what I'm getting. I like that. Thank you very much. I could use that. So it's also talking about introspection coming from the east. And then while coming from the north, that's innocence and passion. So maybe you're coming from the northeast. Innocence, passion, and illumination, right? Think about that. In the west, that's introspection and meditation. And the south is maturity and judgment. So this black horse is south of the northeast horse. It's southwest. So that's introspection, meditation, maturity, and judgment is coming from the southwest. And from the northeast is coming innocence, passion, and illumination. I love that. What a beautiful message. I want that. I'll take that. That works for me in my personal situation. So all journeying, starts with a step forward, right? Any forward movement, that is nurturing growth, and growth that leads to development and enrichment. And any forward movement in the area of those, if those intentions. So I'm moving forward in a way that I'm nurturing growth. That will bring development and enrichment to your life. So, of course, the horse always represents complete freedom. Freedom of choice, freedom of movement. And the appearance of the horse always suggests travels of all kind. Inward, outward, emotional, physical, and spiritual. What a beautiful message. So there's been an issue, embarrassment, change, but we've learned big lessons. It had to happen. You're coming down from the mountain. Remember when the great wave comes, go to the mountain? The mountain was isolation and meditation, and now you're coming down out of the mountain. You're coming away from that. You have learned a wealth of knowledge, and abundance is coming to you as long as you don't focus on the money. Focus first on love and spirit, and the money and everything else is manifesting. You can see the wheel. It's manifesting. And this, to me, represents the phoenix feathers, the phoenix rising from the ashes. Ashes, phoenix rising, forward movement, innocence, illumination, passion, maturity, growth, wisdom, judgment. Woo! Badass message. Thank you for being here, guys. Love this reading for today. Powerful.